21 regular Board of Directors meeting. The format is hybrid. Our quorum is physically present at the Hart Administrative Offices at 1201 East 7th Avenue, and the rest of our board members are participating via communication media and technology. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming today. And thank you for those who are calling in. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have a roll call vote, please?
President English.
Present.
Director Abby Doring Ahern. Present. Director Hardy.
Present.
Director Johnson.
Present.
Director Mechanic.
I'm here. I could barely hear anything, though.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you. Director Vieira. Director Williams.
Present.
You have quorum.
Thank you very much. The rules for hybrid meeting participation are provided in your packet. Our next agenda item is the approval of the minutes from the August 18th, 2021 regular Board of Directors hybrid meeting. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Mike, I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all.
Sorry, Dave, I'll try. Is that better?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Johnson, and we have a second from
Second.
Ms. Ahern. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The next item on our agenda is public input. Is there anyone pre-registered who wishes to comment? Hearing none, and I assume there's no one registered. Ms. Pettit? Okay, thanks. Then let's move to our next agenda item, which includes several action items. The first, 4A, is a resolution number R 2021-0908, approval of acquiring services of Smoker Matthews LLP to provide general counsel services to the Tampa Historic Streetcar Board of Directors. I might add that on August 18th, the board approved a motion to retain Mr. Smoker in his current capacity to continue representing THS. The purpose of this item is to approve a resolution to retain Smoker Matthews LLP to serve in that capacity as our general counsel, and I will sign the retention letter provided as Exhibit A to the resolution after we vote. Are there any questions? If not, Mr. Smoker, anything you'd like to say?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can everyone hear me?
Nice
Yes,
bandana,
I can.
by the way.
Okay, good. Mr. President, this is a standard retainer letter that I have used over the years, and basically provides for hourly attorney work at $150 an hour. There's no retainer requirement because...
I'm sorry, speak up, David, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. The agreement provides for an hourly rate of $150 an hour for all attorney time and $125 an hour for paralegal time. No retainer is being required up front. Obviously, the city and THS are good for payment of services. Other than that, the agreement is very straightforward, and you have the right to terminate me at any time with or without cause. And hopefully you'll decide that you won't do that. So,
Excellent. Any questions of Mr. Smoker? I think we have a motion for Mr. Johnson for...
Yeah, I didn't have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was trying to find out how many years has Mr. Smoker represented the board in whatever capacity with whatever, I know he's been at least with another firm.
Mr. Smoker's firm was retained when we incorporated, or shortly after we incorporated, actually. he had a partner, Dick Schlosser, who represented us for about 10 or 12 years until his death, at which time Mr. Smoker took over. So we've been represented by basically Mr. Smoker's firm for 20 years.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Ms. Ahern and a second from Mr. Hardy.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Welcome back, Mr. Smoker.
Thank you very much.
Is that sort of the Bandito look today?
Well, I got about a mile away from my house in Apollo Beach and realized I didn't have a mask. So fortunately, I had a handkerchief, so mother is, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let's move to 4B, Resolution R 2021-0909, authorizing execution of the Second Amendment to the station sponsorship agreement between Public Supermarkets, Inc., Tampa Historic Streetcar of the City of Tampa, and Hillsborough Transit Authority to retroactively renew and further extend the term of the station sponsorship agreement as amended by the First Amendment to Station Sponsorship Agreement, First Amendment, allowing Publix to sponsor the TICO line streetcar system by naming a stop. Mr. Smoker, anything you'd like to add?
Only that effectively, the net effect of this agreement is to essentially renew the agreement and then extend it out for an additional 1 year beyond that which the First Amendment had provided. And I did contact Publix's Director of Real Estate last week to confirm that they were in agreement with the proposed Second Amendment, and they are.
So we're good to go.
You are. Now, both the Hart Board and the City Council will also have to approve the
Sure.
agreement.
I understand. Any other questions of Mr. Smoker? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve?
A motion for approval by Mr. Hardy, a second by
Second.
Ms. Williams. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Thank you. Thank you all. All right, the next item on our agenda is the streetcar system report. Mr. Allen?
Good afternoon, President English, members of the board. Granville.
Speak up, please.
Ryan Allen, Director of Streetcar Operations. For August, ridership was 65,048. This is just a little above what it was in 2019, before the pandemic, which was 64,839. So a good month, especially considering that for August, we didn't do any special events or anything like that. Of those, 86 were ADA boardings, so those continue to be a very strong number for us also. For the month, we had a high number of 91.5 reported missed trips. The bulk of that was that 65.25 trips were lost because I didn't have AM maintenance people due to the pandemic and in quarantine. So as cars, if something happened to a car, we didn't have any choice but to pull it out of service until the PM crew could get in to work on it. So kind of a unique problem. The other, we lost 14 trips due to lack of operators, 7.25 trips to needing to clean cars, and 5 trips to police activity. Of the reported late departures, we had 13, OTP was 99.69. And as far as the system goes, I'm currently, next week, going to be interviewing for 3 motormen, 1 maintenance supervisor, and a facility person. So we're down a little bit right now for that. And as far as infrastructure goes, car 432 that was rebuilt at Demeco, it entered revenue service on the 26th after coming back, being tested, and getting its safety certification.
So that car is back in service, Brian?
Yes,
Okay.
it and 428 are out there running.
That's great. Are you pleased with the renovation?
Yes, they look like brand new cars.
That's great.
432, actually, it's been running continuously since that day. We just pulled it in today to do some work on it.
Interesting. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Williams.
Thank you. put on my mic. The scenarios you mentioned, no AM crew, lack of operators, and clean cars, do we have plans to fix that in the future when we down employees?
Yes, as far as my mechanics go, I have only 4. I have a very small group of maintenance people. And unfortunately, this happened where one of them was on vacation already. So I had 2 of them that had to go out quarantine. That left me with 1 mechanic to run everything.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. The next item is the chair's report. I really don't have anything to report, except that Ms. LeGrand was not able to be with us today. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, President Ramos, board members. First of all, forgive me for me being late. I didn't know I'd be stepping in.
You have to speak up a little bit.
But, yeah, my name is Scott Drano. I am the Chief of Maintenance and Transportation, and I've been with her for 3 years. Initially, I came in as the Chief of Maintenance, but as of June, I've taken over, reclassified for oversee both operations and maintenance. So nice to meet everybody.
That's great. Nice to have you with us today. So, Mr. Rowland, is Tyler here to give a Vector Media sales activity update?
Yes, sir, I'm here online, if you can hear me okay.
Sure.
So, new business for Vector Media for August. We've got several new reps, those being from the Department of Solid Waste and EPM. These DoorDash has a full side. Mighty Swell also has a full side rep. Publix Greenwise has a full rep as well. And total revenues per the guarantee as of August is $86,250. We do have some new sponsorship, another 6-month sponsorship that was acquired by Vector for the Central Ybor location, who is currently being occupied by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And that concludes my report.
That's great. Any questions? Hearing none, let's move to compliance reports. You have the marketing report, the financial statements in your packet. Are there any questions about those? Hearing none, is there any old business today? Yes, Ms. Ahern.
I was just curious, I guess it goes back to Tyler's report. Do we have any update on?
Could you speak clearly, please?
Do we have any update on Tyler's report regarding the other station and the naming rights?
As far as the Emily station, are you referring to?
Yes.
So Mighty Swell is there until the end of January. So February, that station will be available. Publix has presented interest in that. But as far as the naming rights, that station will become available at that time.
Okay.
It does. That answers your question, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's spoken for until January, February.
Okay.
And I assume, Tyler, that you're kind of coordinating this with the Water Street management as well as Publix?
Yeah, Mr. Smoker and I are going to dive into once that station becomes available to see what other opportunities that may be out there. I mean, obviously Publix has presented interest, but we also want to make sure we don't rule out any of the immediate residents that are within the area. But Vector did a great job, I thought, and actually was able to maintain to acquire the Tampa Bay Lightning sponsorship over there at Central Ybor. And that was a nice surprise for us. So I've directed them to also reach out to the Rays. I'm trying to make some contact information there, so we're continuing to look out for new opportunities throughout all the stations.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Is there any old business?
Mr. President, I don't have any old business, but I do have one item of new
Speak up and
business.
clearly, please.
I'm sorry. Mr. President, I do have an item of new business, which I think we had discussed, the general liability policy for
Yeah, go ahead,
THS.
please.
And I apologize to the board for not having formalized this as an agenda item. Frankly, time just caught up to me. But THS has historically maintained general liability insurance as well as public officials liability insurance, and we've historically worked with PRIA, Public Risk Insurance Advisors, which is a
Speak
branch
up, David.
a branch of Brown & Brown, and they represent a insurance carrier known as Preferred Government Insurance Trust. Preferred, they specialize in insuring governmental entities. We have maintained a policy with them for a number of years, and we're now at the time where we need to renew that policy. We've been presented with a proposal. That new proposal would, if accepted, would establish a policy that would supersede the existing policy, which is due to expire on September 30th of 2021. Now, there are no changes in the proposed limits and deductibles as per the prior policy. The existing policy has $1 million in general liability per occurrence, no deductible, and the premium is $5,175. The public official's liability was also $1 million per claim, a $2,500 deductible for a premium of $5,175. Now, in the existing policy, we have $2 million worth of cyber coverage, which is essentially in the event we have any kind of problem with the computer network or hacking or anything of that nature. It had a $25,000 deductible, but it was included in the total premium that I just discussed. The proposed new policy essentially maintains the same coverages, the same deductibles, and there is a slight reduction in the public official's liability policy, but now they are proposing a $1,300 premium for cyber liability. In other words, it's not going to be included in the prior premium. The net effect is that the total premium package would increase by $1,030 to $11,380. That's a 9.95% increase in the premium. And I've discussed this with President English, and we both believe that this is a reasonable increase under the circumstances. And the recommendation is that you accept the proposal and authorize Mr. English to go ahead and sign the acceptance.
Any questions?
I don't have a question, I have more of a comment. Oh, actually, let me rephrase that. Tell me again when the policy expires?
September 30th?
September 30th, so 2 weeks.
Correct.
Okay, so, oh, my bad. So, my comment on this, obviously we're going to have to approve this now, seeing that we have 2 weeks before this expires. I have a real problem with the fact that we are walking on items that expire, that especially have to do with insurance, that we are waiting 2 weeks before they expire to be able to bring them. I understand that you did speak with President English, fine. To be able to do it all in this manner, I think it's a very bad precedent. So I would appreciate if we're going to be having items that we're going to be voting on, especially something like that we get some kind of an update, even if it's an email explaining what it is. I don't like coming into a meeting and having to vote on something I haven't seen.
I understand.
Especially after we've just voted on your contract, that really is just it's a poor look to me.
Well, I
That's all I have,
apologize.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, I agree. It won't happen again, will it, Mr. Smoker?
That's correct.
So, I did want it, normally, it's a document that I would just sign, but I wanted the board to hear what it was about. It's an important policy in the event we're ever sued, and it pretty much is the same policy as we've been paying for some years, with never a claim, I might add, but or a problem. But be that as it may, I would really like the board's, I would really like a motion to approve it so I can sign it and have it returned on time. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. President, I just have a question. Do we say we have a 9%, 9.5% increase and the benefits went down by how much? There was a reduction in benefit?
The insurance coverage remains the same.
Coverage remains the same?
Yes.
Thank you.
But it went up $1,000 roughly,
Okay, got it.
which is annoying, but it's too late to do anything about it this year. I think we might consider reasonably in advance thinking about asking a couple of other insurance brokers to give us policy proposals, because we've really never changed. I think we asked Grant Melnick, who does our CXX crossing insurance, I think we asked him last year, possibly the year before, if he could do any better, and he basically said no. So, but we'll bear looking into next year, and we will do it that way. Yes, please.
So I want to clarify, hold on a second, David. So I just want to clarify that we did go out and look for others, or we at least investigated it.
Last year we did.
But not this year?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Your point is well taken and noted, Mr. Johnson. Now, may I have a motion for approval, please?
This is Mechanic. I'll make a motion to approve. I would offer the same concerns as has been expressed for the future, but we do need to go ahead and renew this policy so there's no gap in coverage. So I would make that motion.
I'll make a second on the same pretense.
Thank you, David. Thanks,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Williams. We have a motion from Dave Mechanic, a second from Ms. Williams. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
We have, the motion passes with a nay. And that concludes new business and old business. Is there any other, are there any additional comments by board members?
I have a comment, actually a question, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
We skipped over the legal and legislative reports. I don't know if that was a kind of because of the fact that Mr. Smoker had numerous items and that was his report.
That was my mistake, sorry.
Yeah, I have no other report.
Okay. Can I, a quick question?
Sure.
When it comes to the legislative reports, Mr. Smoker, do you tend to do those individually, or do you work with Hart to be able to come up with your reports, or how do you typically do that?
It will vary. In some instances, we work directly with Hart. For example, on the Second Amendment, that was something that was worked on with Hart.
Okay.
Yes.
But you do utilize Hart to be able to prepare some of those reports to be able to give us.
Yeah, so for example, if there's any kind of legislation or, for example, the referendum, that was an item that I would report on in terms of the legal status of that. And I tend to rely on Hart in the event there's any kind of legislative changes that might affect us. Typically, there aren't. But I do rely on Hart. THS does not have their own lobbyist
Right.
up in Tallahassee, so we would ultimately have to rely on Hart's lobbyist.
Okay, perfect. That's all I got, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.